Hey guys, it's Kevin here for Daredevil, Season 1, Episode 7, Stick. And this was a really interesting episode because I don't think we've seen a flashback episode since Episode 2, so it was really cool that we had flashbacks here. And plus, I mean, the one question that's been on all of our minds is how the hell did Matt become as powerful and as strong as he is? Like, how do you do all of that by himself? We learned this episode that he didn't do that by himself. He had to have some sort of trainer, and that trainer was Stick. And I have to say, that made that made his character a lot more interesting, and some really intense stuff that happened in this episode, I have to say. Really great stuff. The guy that played Stick, the actor, I don't know who his name is, but he did an amazing job. Let's get into this episode because it was amazing, and I loved it. I still feel last week's episode was the best episode of the season, but I still love this episode, and I still think episode 6 is the best episode of the season, but I still love this episode. It's definitely high up there with the best episodes, and let's get into it because it was amazing. So a man runs down a stairwell into an office, takes a gun out of a drawer. He hears the elevator coming, runs out. He opens fire when the doors open. However, there's no one inside to be hit, and as the man reloads, his intended target puts a sword to his throat, and demands to know where Black Sky is, and we're reminded here of the awesome opening scenes we always have. This was another one of them, and the shooter says that he doesn't know. The swordman cuts his hand off when he goes for his gun, and the swordman repeats his question, and the shooter says they put Black Sky on a ship headed for New York City. He swears on his family that he's telling the truth, and one of the things I love is that we have no idea who Swordsman is and who Black Sky is. We don't know any of this stuff, and we're automatically, intrigued. I was so intrigued by the scene, oh my god, who's Black Sky, who's this man? And we see here is this elderly blind man, and basically, he's the swordsman, and he says they're better off without him before cutting off his head, and this shows us a few things. It shows us that this man is extremely deadly and that he is extremely intimidating. Like, that right away made me intimidated by this man. It really did. And I feared him, honestly. And that was the intent. I heard the point of, the character of Stick is that you're supposed to fear him the second that you see him. And this really made me intimidated by him, which was really good. 2, it was just an awesome way to start the episode and perfectly hooked me in, which I love that Daredevil always starts with an awesome scene like that. So at the office, or law office, this I found really interesting, because I always thought Foggy knew who Daredevil is, but we find out in this episode that he doesn't know who Daredevil is. He doesn't know that Matt's the Daredevil, because he's reading a tabloid about the Daredevil, and tells Karen that the vigilante is a terrorist, and he really doesn't think that Daredevil's a good guy. He thinks he's crazy, and Karen's dismissing the article as speculation, but Foggy figures that Daredevil is a nutjob, and I thought it was really interesting we realized that Foggy doesn't know that Matt's the Daredevil. You'd think that Matt would tell him that he was a Daredevil because of how close they are, but obviously he's not going to, because Foggy would think he's crazy if he did that, so he's obviously not going to tell him that. I'm pretty sure Foggy's going to find out at some point. I'm calling it now. The episode Murdoch versus Nelson is all about Foggy finding out that Matt's the Daredevil. That's what I think that episode's all about. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that's what's going on there. So Karen dismisses the article as speculation, and basically she asks what his opinion is, and I thought that was kind of funny, because of course Matt can't say anything, and he insists that Daredevil should be found guilty in a court of law rather than the press, and I like that he said that, because it's true. I mean, if people really think that Daredevil's this crazy guy, he should be arrested. He should be taken to a court of law. And you would think that that would happen. And I like that he said that, because it really is true. Daredevil should be taken to, a court or something. And I like that Matt suggested that. Now, Foggy disagrees and suggests that he and Karen go out, but she says that she has something to do. And once Karen leaves, Foggy wonders if she has secrets. And one of the things about the scene is that he's asking if she has secrets, and he doesn't know the amount of secrets that Matt's keeping. And basically, he's starting to get very suspicious of Karen, because of course he doesn't know half the shit that's going on with her. None of it. And he asks Matt about his secret girlfriend, of course, Claire, and he doesn't know about Claire, and once Matt says that it didn't work out, he tells his partner that he's staying to work on Elena's case. I'm pretty sure that him and Claire are secretly, together. He just can't tell Foggy because it's really complicated. I feel like that's really what's going on there. So, they're going to work on Elena's case, and once Foggy leaves, Matt goes back to reading the Braille files on Leland, who works at Silver and Brandt. So later, Leland meets with Nobu at a parking garage and tells him that the funds have been transferred as request. He knows that Nobu is using the money to clear the docks for an arriving ship, and suggests that they protect each other so that Wilson doesn't betray them. Who, by the way, Wilson is not in this episode, which I actually really like, because it's really, setting us up for Wilson's character. And, Stick kind of made up for Wilson not being in this episode, because Stick was the intimidating presence of this episode that I love seeing. So Basically, he suggests that they protect each other so that Wilson doesn't betray them, and Nobu refuses and leaves with his men, and I think it's good because, if they work together, they'll be so strong that Wilson won't, betray them. So, basically, Daredevil approaches Leland and demands to see his records on Wilson's account. Someone taps on the floor, distracting Daredevil, and Leland shocks him with a stun gun, and then drives off, and we see the old swordsman, who is revealed to be Stick. He comes up and asks Daredevil if Daredevil is just gonna lie there all night. And I love that scene because we could have this really awesome action scene, but no, this episode's a lot slower than that. It really shows how slow this show is. I like that this show is fast, but it's also slow. I've said this before. This show is very fast at times, but it's also very slow at times. This was a time for the show to slow down a bit because we had that huge episode last week. It was a bit of a time for the show to slow down, which I like seeing. So basically, we go to a flashback here, and I thought this was really well done. I definitely really enjoyed this. Because basically, a young Matt lies on his bed at the Catholic orphanage, trying to shut the noise out. And meanwhile, the head nun summons Stick. And now Stick is explaining that, the head nun is explaining that Matt has recently gone worse, and they've heard that Stick works with special cases. And the nun assures him that Jack left Matt plenty of money, and Matt's mother's out of the picture. So basically, Stick is there to help Matt, and Stick tells her to write the check out to cash and enters Matt's room. He tells Matt that he's getting stronger, tosses him a set of keys, and basically he's gonna train Matt. Matt catches them, and Stick tells them they're getting started, and Stick takes Matt to the park and buys him ice cream. And I love what Stick says to Matt. He says, "No one's ever cared about you, and no one ever will, and he's really the only one that can help him." And he tells him that he's lucky that he had sight for 9 years. He asked him, when he went blind. He said 9 years. And now, Stick has been blind for forever, for the rest of his, forever, since he was born. So he talks about how lucky he has survived the accident, and you can see that Stick really does feel bad for Matt. I love the dynamic between these two, I have to say. It's very complicated, but I definitely really enjoy it, because Stick tells Matt to focus and let the world in, and has him analyze the people nearby, and Matt talks about how one old man is slowly dying, and he talks about this one woman who he can hear their heart beating. It really reminds you of the gifts that Matt has. He can hear people's heart beating, and he knows when someone's telling the truth. He can even hear someone talk from far away. I mean, he has these incredible abilities, and I like what Stick tells him, that the world isn't fair, and he says the only way that guys like them can survive is to fight, and he says that he's going to train Matt to use his gift for the war that's coming. And of course, that's why Matt is as strong as he is, because he had Stick to train him. And when Matt wonders what he means, Stick tells him that they'll get to that part when he's ready. So, because Matt, of course, doesn't know what he means by the war that's coming. And I'm like, what exactly is Stick talking about? And he says that he'll tell him when he's ready. So I thought that was really interesting. So Matt's there. We go back to the present, and Matt literally wants nothing to do with him. He's like, "Get out of my city. I want nothing to do with you." We can definitely see that things are really complicated between Matt and Stick. But then you look at their scenes in the past, and it's like, how to get this bad. So I thought this was really interesting, because Stick points out that he's wanted as a cop killer, and an old man just beat him, and says that he's there to save everyone in Hell's Kitchen from a horrible death. That's basically what he wants to do. And that's basically what he's there to do. That he is this cop killer, but he's really saving everyone from something terrible that's going to happen, which I thought was really interesting. So Karen meets with Ben and admits that whoever used Union Allied and broke it up covered their tracks, and Ben warns her that research is the job, and it's complicated and boring, but it has to be done. He's done his own investigation and discovered that the Union Allied people are tied into the Yakuza, and Karen asks what he thinks of Daredevil supposedly shooting the cop, because she doesn't know if it's true or not. Obviously, she didn't really see it, so she's not sure if they're making this up or if he really did. And Ben says that he was with Blake when he got shot, so now Detective's in a coma, and Ben advises Karen to stay away from the Daredevil. And I like that people are slowly turning against the Daredevil. I think that's really interesting, because Karen says that she'll only feel safe if they put away the people who tried to kill her, and Ben says that if they get enough, then he'll take it to Ellison, and they'll use it as a case, basically. So that's basically what their plan is there, which I thought was really interesting. So Matt then takes Stick to his apartment, and the old man warns him that he's become soft and let women... Now, he tells him that he is very successful in his life, that he's happy with how successful he's become, with his law and everything, but he tells him that he's very weak and he's soft, and he's let women and fine things distract him, which I kind of see what Stick is saying. I mean, a lot of these superheroes, they don't want to let women distract them, and he tells him to cut his friends loose before they get hurt and says that Matt is still a kid. You know, Stick is the kind of person that has gone by on his own, and it really shows the difference between these two. Stick is a person that's gone by on his own. He's always been alone. He does things by himself. Matt is a person that he doesn't realize how strong Matt is, of course. And I'm just saying to Stick, like, you really can't say, you know, tell Matt what to do, because you don't know how powerful he really is. I mean, you haven't seen him you haven't seen him fight someone. I mean, he did stop Matt from fighting someone, but you really didn't see Matt, like, fight someone as the Daredevil. He really didn't see it happen. So, when he insults Jack, I love that Matt just attacks him after that when he insults Jack, and Stick easily puts him in a hold and forces him to the floor, and it's crazy. You can tell there's something crazy going on there. So back to the past, Stick easily puts a young Matt into a hold and forces him to the floor, and he tells Matt to make him stop or quit and knocks him to the ground, and the boy is pissed at, Matt is pissed at Stick. He's angry, and the old man easily deflects his blow. He tells Matt to learn how to control his anger and knocks him down repeatedly, and Matt blames himself for Jack's death, which I thought that was really interesting, because now we know what's really going on there, is that Matt really blames himself for what happened to Jack, and because Matt wanted Jack to win. Of course, he wanted that to happen, and now he feels like he caused it. So if you remember, Jack died in that fight. That's really what happened, that Jack died in that. So Stick tells the boy that all he knows is Jack is gone, and I like that they actually left this right where episode 2 left off. I thought that was really interesting. So basically, he tells the boy all he knows is that Jack is gone, and Matt needs to stop taking a beating and start giving one. He needs to realize that, yeah, his father's dead, but he needs to go on with his life and do something with it. And I thought this was really good advice what Stick was telling him. And the boy comes in again, and Stick puts him in a hold, and basically they continue their training. So back to the present, Matt breaks the hold and Stick chuckles, and as he gets a beer, Matt asks why exactly he's there, because that is a good question why he's there. And Stick says that it's the war. Finally, after all these years, he's finally going to tell him what he means by the war. Now it's against the Japanese, mostly, and Stick explains that Nobu is high up and uses several different aliases. He doesn't want Nobu, he wants what's on the ship that is arriving at the docks. Because they're bringing in a weapon, Black Sky. That's what he was looking for. Now we know what Black Sky is. The bringer of shadows, basically. He now needs a soldier. So now we're definitely starting to get into more of the superhero aspect of the show. And I heard this is the episode where they kind of turned the show into a Marvel show. Because the first 6 episodes haven't felt like a Marvel show. This, I have to say, was the first episode that felt like a Marvel show. It wasn't bad. I like that it felt this way. I like this sort of like superhero tone to it. But it just felt a little bit different than the first 6 episodes. But I still really enjoyed that. And it still felt a lot more darker and things like that, a lot more realistic. It didn't feel like Arrow or something like that, which I hope it never does feel like that, because Arrow's not good anymore. So Stick basically tells him that he needs a soldier, not a friend, to help him, so he came to Matt, and of course Matt's not his friend. He is someone he's trained, and he feels like he can really help him, and Matt hesitates, and Stick warns him that he's only doing half measures. However, he then asks Matt to come with him and promises that Wilson will know fear, because he knows that Matt defeated the man that Wilson is afraid of course, which he did, and Matt agrees after he makes Stick promise not to kill anyone, which I thought was good that he asked him to do that, because he obviously doesn't want Stick to just go around killing people, because they could use that against Daredevil. They could think that Daredevil did it, and he just doesn't want to get himself into a bit deeper hole than he's already in. So Karen goes to Elena's apartment, assures the old woman that she doesn't owe her anything. However, she asks for information if Elena wants to help, and Elena says that she can tell Foggy is in love with Karen, and Karen hastily returns to her investigation. And I think it's really interesting, Karen doesn't really want to be with Foggy. Like, she doesn't want to admit that she is in love with Foggy. I think it's really interesting overall. So she's trying to tie Tally to Union Allied, but Tully has disappeared. And Elena didn't sign any papers, but she describes the 2 repairmen and confirms that one of them had a neck tattoo. And Karen has her described and then leaves to find the man, obviously to find the man with the neck tattoo. So, out on the streets, Karen walks out. This large, bald man just follows her, attacks her. His partner grabs Karen, drags her into now. He easily stops her when she tries to draw her mace can, and Karen kicks the man in the groin, and Foggy arrives, knocks the other one out from behind. As I said, Foggy's a badass, and he missed that he was following her because she was acting weird. She sprays one of the men in the face and then says that she can take care of herself, and as she walks away, Foggy hits the man with his baseball bat and goes after her, and I thought that was awesome. It really shows that he will do anything to protect Karen, and I love seeing that. So, At the docks, Nobu and his men watch the cargo container is offloaded, and Daredevil and Stick watch from a rooftop. Now, Stick tells him to deal with the men while he takes out Black Sky, and Stick gives him a pair of Joe sticks, and Daredevil heads down as the old man assembles a bow, and the vigilante picks off the men one at a time while the others open at the container. Inside is a young Asian boy, chained to the floor. The Yakuza men bring the boy out, and Daredevil hears Stick drawing the bow. The vigilante leaps out, deflects the arrow, which nicks the boy instead of killing him, and Daredevil ducks back into the shadow at the Yakuza things, open fire. Several of theirs move forward, and Daredevil takes them out, but Nobu and the rest drive off with the boy, and by the time he finishes his opponents off, Daredevil realizes that Stick is gone as well. So Stick just left him there. Why he left him there, I don't know, but he's gone. So, I don't know why he left, but he left him there. So, Stick and Matt spar until Stick is satisfied that we go back to the past, and basically they're still training, and they spar until Stick is satisfied that the boy is competent, and he explains that fighting is just the start, and tells Matt to learn meditation to control his feelings. And as Stick starts to leave, Matt gives him a bracelet that he made from the ice cream cone wrapper when they first met, and Stick takes it and after a moment crushes it and tells Matt that he can't help him anymore and he expected too much of him. So he clearly doesn't want Matt to have these, like, sad emotions, and I'm not really sure why he doesn't want that, but it seems like whenever these two start to get close, he just leaves him. Maybe because he doesn't really want him to feel compassion for Stick, because Stick knows he's not really the best man, so that's what's really going on there. I'm not really sure. What do you guys think about that? Because then we see Matt returns to his apartment and holds Stick there, and he tosses the sticks to his former teacher and demands to know what was going on. And Stick says the thing in the container wasn't a child, and he dismisses Matt's concern as emotional. He needed a soldier, but Matt needed a father, and starts to leave. And when Matt says that he won't let him kill the boy, and I understand what he's saying. Like, while he will train Matt, he doesn't want him to feel sympathy for him. He doesn't want him to feel an emotional attachment to Stick. I think that's really what it is. Stick does not want them to get close because he's only there to train Matt, and he just doesn't want him to do that. Because he knows that he's not going to be around for long, he knows that he's just as dangerous as Matt, and Matt shouldn't try to emulate him. So Matt says that he won't let him kill the boy. Stick says he caught up to the van, did anyway, and because Matt asked him, no, please, don't kill anyone, and yet Stick is now saying that he's going to kill someone. So obviously Matt's pissed at him. He attacks him in the two fight. It's a crazy scene. Stick knocks him down, yells at him to get up, and beats him down. One of the sticks roll over. Matt grabs it, renews his attack. He finally takes the old man down, tells him to get out of his city, and Stick goes to his feet and says that there's hope for Matt after all, and walks out. So basically, once again, they end up in a fight, and I thought that was crazy that they end up in that fight there. So Karen takes Foggy to Ben's office, insists that they can trust the lawyer, and Ben reluctantly gives in and shows I like that she showed Foggy what was going on here, because basically that's what they're gonna, I like that she showed Foggy what exactly is going on here, because Foggy thought she was hiding something, and now he knows what's going on. So Ben reluctantly gives in. He doesn't really, want to trust Foggy, but I like that Karen said they can, and she shows Foggy his board sketching out their opposition's organization. And Karen and Ben very quickly figure out that Daredevil and Wilson are working against each other. So now they know that whoever, the organization leader is, he is against Daredevil, which I find very interesting overall. I think that's really interesting. I'm very interested in seeing what is going to happen there, because that's really interesting. So as Matt cleans up the wreckage of his apartment, he finds a bracelet he made for Stick, and I'm wondering what he's going to do with that. I really felt bad for Matt, because that was the last time that Stick left him, and now he left him again because he got soft on him. And Stick then meets with another of his clans, Stone, and he says that Black Sky is no longer a threat, and admits that Matt is stubborn and immature, and Stone wonders if Matt is ready when the door is open, and Stick warns that he has no idea. Now, what this door is, I don't know, but I'm perfectly intrigued, and I know we're going to see Stick again. That's basically how the episode ends, and I really love this episode. I have to say, it was really cool to see more of Matt's past, and see who actually trained Matt, and made Matt the vigilante he is today. Now, I definitely feel like Stick just doesn't really want Matt to get emotionally attached to him, but do you feel like Matt just feels that emotional attachment? I mean, besides his father, no one really else helped out Matt. Stick is the only other person who can help Matt because he is blind, and I think that's why Matt is so attached to him, because he's really the only person that Matt can relate to besides his father, and he was the only other man he's looked up to. I think that really is what it's all about, and I really do feel bad for Matt, because Stick does not want him to get close with him, but yet Matt does want to, and I felt really bad for Matt because of that. Let's talk about Foggy and Karen. Are they going to find out Matt is the Daredevil? I think they are very close to finding out. I really feel like soon they're going to find out that Matt's the Daredevil, and it's not going to be in the best way. I feel like somehow in this investigation they have to find out. I mean, if they see a picture of the Daredevil, Foggy should be able to tell in a second that that's Matt. I mean, if they really, they're like best friends, so he has to be able to tell that, and I'm very interested in seeing what's going to happen there. What really is the war that's coming? Now that Karen and Foggy know that Daredevil and Wilson are working against each other, what exactly is this going to do with Karen and Ben's whole investigation of what really happened with the mob and everything? What's really going to happen there? I'm interested in seeing what they're going to do there as well. Definitely, I mean, I'm interested in seeing what's going to happen with Karen finding that man, basically. The man that had a neck tattoo. I'm wondering what's going to happen there if she does find the man. We'll see what happens. Is Black Sky really no longer a threat? You know, is it really no longer a threat like he said it is? But what is this door? Like, what war is coming? What exactly is he talking about? I'm not really sure what Stone is clearly talking about, but are we going to see Stick again? I would love to see Stick again. I think he added a lot of emotional layers to the show. It really added a great bond between Matt and Stick. I really like seeing their bonding overall. I thought it was really well done, I have to say. They definitely did a great job with that. I love the flashbacks as well. I really hope we see more flashbacks because the flashbacks really add to Matt's story. It really gives him more of a character, and I love that. And something else I thought was really well done, as I said, was the relationship between these two. They're so close, and the action scenes in this episode also were awesome. I love seeing them fight against each other. I really hope that they can repair the relation, because I really do like these two as friends. I just hope that they can fix what's really going on with them. But that's basically my review. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode. Overall, guys, thought this was one of the best episodes of the season by far. I really love seeing Stick's character. Whoever played Stick, amazing job. So intimidating, so creepy. And I loved his, not really creepy, but like, I just really loved his character. His presence was definitely very, very well done, I have to say. I thought they did a great job with his character, and I really loved, this episode because of his character. I thought he was great. He really made the episode better than it was. I'm not saying that the show wasn't good, but I definitely feel like Stick added that superhero element to the show, because the show wasn't really feeling like a superhero show, and now it really does feel like a Marvel show, because now we actually have legitimate threats, and now we know what's going to happen. Now we know that, you know, basically Stick's out there and Stick trained Daredevil. It's just another piece of the puzzle that's made this show more interesting that I absolutely love. Also, is Matt really done with Claire? I mean, he's claiming that it really didn't work out between them, but I kind of feel like Claire would still have Matt's back as well. And why does Karen not want to get close with Foggy? It seems like whenever Elena brings up that Foggy likes Karen, Karen just shuts the idea down immediately. Maybe she just doesn't really want to get emotionally attached to him. I'm not really sure. Why doesn't she really want a relationship with him? Because if she shows him what's going on with Ben and everything, I think she can go into a relationship with him. I really think she's, you know, I really think she likes him enough to go into a relation with him. I don't know why she keeps shutting down that, but I just find that really interesting overall. But let me know what you guys saw this episode. As I said, I love this episode. Really loving the show. The show has yet to give me a bad episode, so I love that, especially after 7 episodes. Awesome that they have yet to give me a bad episode. Let me know what you guys saw this episode. That's my review. Hope you guys enjoy it, and I will see you guys in my next video, which will be for my review of tonight's episode of Outlander. By the way, guys, Finding Carter, in case you guys, I just did say in my last review, but Finding Carter, I'm pretty much gonna review the season. If it's as boring as this week's episode was, I won't continue watching it. And also Orphan Black, I'm not watching Orphan Black anymore. I'm really disinterested. I'm being honest. I watched last week's episode. I was really bored by it, and I'm not really interested in the show anymore. For me, I'm not gonna keep watching a show if I'm not emotionally invested in it and want to keep watching it. That's really how I feel about a show. But I'll see you guys in the next video, which will be for my review of tonight's episode of Outlander, which I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.